Alright guys, so what you're actually going to want to do is head to the anomaly. This is the quickest way to access public spaces, and the reason why I'm saying this is this is the way easier method of getting Nip compared to getting it the normal way. The normal way, of course, I will go ahead and explain to you. So first things first, head to a criminal galaxy, step 1. Step 2, go to a criminal galaxy outlaw station, step 2. Step 3, wait for ships to land. Talk to all people on the ships until one of them sells you Nip. Also, you can check the galactic terminal or whatever it is, the black market on the settlements for Nip. But the easier method is what I'm going to show you. So right up here is a portal. Now this portal is like most portals, except for it has a little bit of something different to it. Some people might not even know about this. This is interstellar portal. So there are these things called community highlights, and most community highlights feature plants. You see where I'm going with this. So I don't know what's going on with this one, so I suppose we'll not risk it. So I'll go ahead and tell you the one. So refueling station Helios 42 has some Nip in it. So once we're there, I'll show you where. Alrighty guys, so we've landed here, and all you gotta do is head straight into here, run over to this little fireplace area, and there will be 2 Nip plants here for you to harvest. That's 1 bud, that's 2 buds. So, you now have 2 Nip buds. Now plant them, grow them, get more Nip. They also you don't lose the plant once you harvest it, it remains, so you can just continue to harvest it, so you don't have to replant or anything like that. It's automated like that. You just have to go harvest and push the 12 harvesters in 1 button. That's why I use biodomes. 12 plants, 1 button, about 30 buds per button push. But anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. But yeah. Alrighty, yo, hey guys, it's Beast, back with some more Beastly content. So, this is my mycelium farm, if you have not seen it. This is currently the progress going on here. We'll just check it out here real quickly. So, we're going to be doing some more Nip farming. I'm going to be doing some sort of just things I've learned during my progress of creating this Nip farm. So, first things first, let me tell you, this was just the most recent harvest. I just did this harvest. This equates to almost 420 Nip buds. Almost, we were 4 away, made me a little sad, but it is okay. So, what we're going to be doing here today is learning some things that everything that I've learned while building my current Nip farm. And we're just going to go ahead and make sure we get all the Nip on that we need. So first things first, you're going to need Facium. How do you make Facium? So you're going to want a large refiner. This is the easiest way. Get yourself carbon and get yourself a dihydrogen. So carbon can be made from oxygen. Oxygen is a very, very common item on most people who are selling anything in the universe. And the other thing is going to be dihydrogen jelly. So, dihydrogen jelly is something that you can find someone selling a whole bunch of for really, really cheap, but you can't ever really find dihydrogen. I say you can find dihydrogen being sold, but it is semi-rare. So, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and show you how my run would be if I needed to go do a dihydrogen run. I currently don't, but we'll show you what I would do. So, first things first, I would go to a 3-star galaxy of Gek. That's just my favorite galaxy to go to because I'm selling Nip. Sell it to the Geks. They're the ones that are going to pay the most. I get 3% up. That's what I try and aim for when I sell my Nip. But and you can also choose who to sell it for, so you can make a little bit more off of it. That's another thing that you should keep into account when selling Nip. Is the percentages actually do matter? Because that means you're making that % more off of it. And while that's not doesn't seem like much, when you're selling 9,000 Nip buds, for 2% more than it's worth, or 3% more, or negative 1% more, you're basically losing almost 4% for not finding a 3% person to sell it to. And all you have to do in order to sell the Nip, this is the next thing I'm going to say, is where do you sell your Nip bud to? Now, I know some people say just sell it to the galactic terminal on your freighter and do a freighter farm. Well, 1, I like biodome farms better. 2, do not sell it to the galactical terminal. So this will actually aid in decreasing the demand for Nip because you are selling it in bulk to the galactic terminal. Increasing, so that's what that means basically. So that's why demand's down on this. A bunch of it was sold. sort of like that. So it's like this right here, negative 12%. Terrible. It's down by 12%, and that's good because I can buy it here and sell it somewhere else. So we'll pick it up. We can sell that somewhere else for a whole lot. This is also just a little bit of a market thing here. But for the Nip Nip, I would not be selling it to your terminal because 1, it's smuggled contraband. That's something to remember. 2, the demand is plus negative 1.1% from the terminal, which is not good either. That's negative 1%. So we're making less from it, and when you sell it there, it's going to make the value of Nip Nip to be sold anywhere in this galaxy. The price will be lower for you because you sold it all to the Galactic Terminal. So sell it to here, right here. Offer to trade. We're going to go ahead and see how much he's willing to buy it for. He's willing to buy it for 11.6 million for 250 plus. It looks like still a negative 1.1. So we're going to go somewhere else. And you could also go to a criminal galaxy and do this. We're going to see what percentage this guy's buying it for, and it might just be what the percentage is in my galaxy, but let's check it out. And this is a 3-star galaxy, so plus negative 1.1, so it's not really going to matter, but we're still not selling it to the main guy. But we're also here for a second reason. We're going to see what this guy's trading. I usually do a check of just the first couple ships that land on the space station. My space station runs usually include going up to these guys and buying stuff. So, like I said, for carbon can be converted straight from oxygen, so that's 383 oxygen. That there is actually 383 carbon. When you stick it in any refiner, it will turn into carbon. It is a improper burn or something they call it, but since it's such a common item, it is so easy to just gather a bunch of oxygen, and when you need carbon, convert the oxygen. So that guy's gone. We couldn't deal with him in time. I don't think we did this guy yet. I think he just landed, actually. We'll try him. It is worth checking. I think maybe you can get 1 or 2 in here sometimes. I have had times where I've gotten 150 of these and had that hydrogen for days and days, and that's where I'm currently at. And we'll check with this guy too. Turn out, and the terminals don't turn out. The next thing you can do is get yourself some of these. Not these, but these. So, this tells you about inhabited outpost of some kind has been marked. That means that it is just a building, it means minor settlements, it means trade stations and such. I will also mention for my trade stations, when you see them, I have a mod that adds landing pads to my trade stations, so that's what's going on there. That's all it is. Mods are 100% supported in this game, and you will not be banned for using them. That's something cool about Hello Games. Super cool game developer. But, as you can see here, just wanted to check here. Nothing. So, we're going to go way down here now to the cartographer. And this is where you're going to be able to pick up all of these different maps. So the ones that you're looking for is commercial cartography data. We already have our maps picked out and all of our navigation data spent. So we're good for now. But the next thing I'm going to suggest you to do is go ahead and head to your ship and land in it. So the next thing to do, open your inventory, go over here, look for one of those things. What bang? Planetary thingy, transmission tower, not what we're looking for. See if you can pop it again. We can't. So when it says similar building found, it just means that you've used too many of these and you need to go find some of these destinations before you actually can use any more of these little waypoint navigation data. So we got a shelter here. Shelters sometimes have a chance of having settlements, so we're going to head here and see what's here. And then we'll be back when we have one of these that actually shows us a minor settlement or trade station. So we've made it to the trade post, and like I said, one of the mods that I use actually adds a landing pad setup around the trade post, and I don't believe they normally do, but yeah. So upon getting to the trade post, there is going to be a trade terminal in the back here. I've actually had pretty good luck with trade post having hydrogen gel, but this one did not. It did have more life support gel if you need that, and it has other things. Once again, more oxygen. We'll go ahead and pick that up and add it to our freighter while we're at it. And then I think we're just going to get out of here. There's not really much here. Let's see if we can't find a minor settlement. That's really what we're after. No, we're going to have to go to another one of these locations that are marked on our map. So, I will be back. Alrighty, so I do believe we've actually cleared up the whole thing of all of these locations, so we should be able to pop one of these and get a minor settlement. We are just going to have our finger on the button, right? Click the next one, because these do not guarantee minor settlement. There we go. So here we go. This is usually where I try and find my dihydrogen gel when I am shopping for Facium resources. You can also plant Facium and grow more of it. You could also just go find dihydrogen crystals. But I like to do this for a couple reasons. So, miner settlements also have a multi-tool station. The multi-tool station is based upon the planet as to what multi-tool spawns, and since it's a 3-star galaxy, there is a higher chance of it spawning as an S-class multi-tool. And also, there's other things I might want to buy here besides just dihydrogen. Usually when I go on a shopping trip, I have a good list made up of what I want to go get, and I just hit all of these miner settlements up. And I need to be picking up salvage data. That is the other reason that you would want to be doing this. Also, you can get some navigation data back here and such. Like right here, a Dream Absorber. Cool, but it's only C rank. That sucks. Okay, I've gotten a couple S ranks lately, actually, on my multi-tool. So, purchase blueprints, let's see, or components, let's see here. Dihydrogen jelly, but this guy's only selling one. So, bad luck, bad luck. This guy was only selling one dihydrogen jelly. That will stack up, of course. We will go ahead and pick it up because it's okay. I didn't see any salvage data unless I picked it up on reflex. No salvage data from this guy either. So this place seems like a bust so far. We'll check the terminals. Usually, I don't even know, honestly, if the terminals can have anything. We will go ahead and pick up some oxygen just because we'll need that for future things. Ferrite dust is usually something I just like to pick up. It's really cheap and, well, everybody can use a little bit more ferrite dust in their life. So, next place, let's try it. Let's see where it takes us next. Okay, so we have been found with our Nip Bud, so we are having to run. Hopefully we can get to the trade post. Here we go, engaging post driver. We are free. They're not taking my Nip today. I really should store my Nip. So, we're gonna go check up here at a galactic terminal. We might check with a couple ships that landed here. And just see if we can't find any more dihydrogen jelly. Oh, here we go, 76. This is what I'm talking about, guys. So, 20 of these makes 800 dihydrogen. That means that we have just picked up like almost 3,000 dihydrogen just by buying this. So, we're going to go ahead and pick up all 76 of them. We probably are going to continue doing this off screen, honestly, and then we'll be on to the next tips. But this is all of the Facium farm I'm going to be showing you. So, as much as I want to continue doing that, we'll be back in a second. We're back at my ship. Alrighty, so now that we're back at the base, like I said, Facium is made from dihydrogen and carbon. You will need one of these large refiners to be combining elements, but it is the easiest way to get a whole bunch of Facium. The next thing I have learned in this is going to be mentioning power just a little bit. So, basically, there's a weird bug in the game, and I like to use biodomes for this. There's this weird bug in the game where power has to be being given to something, even if you're in creative power mode, or your Nip plants will not grow. So, as you can see here, this is my base terminus teleporter. It requires 20 power, so it is using power. It is in a circular room, which is then connected to a corridor, which is then connected to my first biodome, which is then connected to the next one, meaning that all of these are connected by corridor directly to this right here. As long as everything is completely connected and enclosed as one singular object, you will have no issues. So as you can see here, we have these ladders here. I've planted Nip up here, and as you can see, it grows even at the very top of it. I've harvested Nip from the very top of this farm here, and it all will grow. So what that means is, as long as you have in your base bottom block, which is what you're going to need for these biodome farms. Once again, I'm going to be touching on these again. This is what you should be doing for Nip farms if you're looking for mass scale. Freighters, I guess, have some sort of convenience somehow. Honestly, I hate freighters. I hate freighter builds. They're just terrible farms. They don't even look good. This is way more condensed on space saving, and it means you can do something different with your freighters. Like maybe, I don't know, build living quarters for the people who work on your freighter instead of putting Nip farms everywhere and taking up all that space. So biodomes are the way to go, and here's why. So you can see this room right here is the center column, and then we have 4 extending hallways, each connected to a biodome. That means that you're able to get 48 plants per floor, per tower that you build. You could connect these, as you can see right here. I have them connected by use of biodomes. I think that would honestly be the best way to go, is to have a base room connected to a biodome, which then connects to another one, which then connects to another tower. So like if I was wanting to build another tower, what I would do is go ahead and stick like a hallway here and then a biodome, or a hallway here and then a normal circular room here, and then extend it all the way across with 4 corridors on each side, all of them getting biodomes, and then build it up. That would build a second tower of what this is, which I will eventually be doing, because it will continue to flow because it's still powered by this. As a matter of fact, I think actually the best thing to do would be to add a second circular room to this one, stick it right here. This could be a spot for a whole bunch of plants. Right here could be a whole nother tower to be built, and right here could be a whole nother tower to be built. And once again, what I mean by towers is the center tower there, and then 4 expanded out apart. You are going to want to make sure and take into account that you make space to have 4 different biodomes. But besides that, it should be no problem. So like right here, I'm actually going to stick one right here. This is where we're going to start on the next tower, but very lightly, just to show you an example of what I would do if I wanted to extend one of these past 1 tower. So as you can see here, this is still all getting power because this is connected directly to the teleporting room, which runs a corridor here to this room. So this is just the best way. And what I'm basically teaching you here is the best way to ensure that you always get power to all of your biodomes, and all of your biodomes are always harvestable, so you're not just placing wasted biodomes full of what is basically wasted nip bud. So the first floor can actually go ahead and start being biodomes here. That will not be any sort of problem here, and we'll just go ahead and show that. The first floor can be biodomes as well, and then of course you build the biodomes on top. You go ahead and build yourself a second circular room here, and then of course another straight corridor. Wabang, there's the second biodome. And as a matter of fact, we're going to edit this one because I don't think it snapped right. There we go. That's the proper snapping of it. They will snap on top of each other and stack, but when they snap to a corridor, it'll put the bubble look to it, and it'll put it in the center. Sometimes the plants will look non-grown. That's another weird thing I've gotten on this. The plants will look non-grown, but you will see the icon saying you can harvest, and if you do a harvest, you will go ahead and harvest them. But in the biodomes with the weird glass in the middle, sometimes from the inside it will look like the plants are not grown at all when they're fully grown. You can tell if they're grown or not by the top of your screen, where it will show the little green icons for fully grown plants. But as you can see, that is how you handle power issues with this. Just start at the teleporter room and build out from it, and make sure everything's connected to your teleporter room, and you should not have any issues with nip plants not growing. As for other sort of designs, you can once again do a nip farm in just the cylinder rooms with the hydroponic trays, but I would not recommend it. I would recommend just getting the salvage data, which the method I showed you earlier for dihydrogen is also a good method to get some salvage data from those minor settlements. But yeah, I do believe this will be about all. So I do believe this will be all. The other thing I will suggest real quickly is just use free cam mode when you're planting for the towers, and go outside of your towers, so that you may be able to plant them way easier. So as you can see here, that took me back down. The other thing is, when you're in a certain item selected and you want to change items, push your B button. Do not push the up D-pad. That will take your camera back to its default position, and you will have to reposition the entire thing again, which can be rather annoying. So as you can see here, we can build 120. We probably have not enough Facium. Facium's definitely our limit there. But anyway, as I was saying, go outside using the free cam mode, just because it's way easier to do this. You don't have to worry about your jetpack being depleted or anything, and you can stand outside of them and actually plant here. This is way better than going inside and climbing the ladder and planting them all. That way you only have to use the ladder, which you will have to have a ladder in the center of every single room, so that they are all connected 100% to the original teleporter room. This way it's way easier to plant these than it would be going in there and climbing the ladder, going to a floor, and continuing. But I do believe that is all, guys. I'm not going to bore you with anything else. I do believe I am out for now, guys. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you're not already, and keep it beast mode.